Please welcome to the stage, for the love of cricket's Jos Buttler and Stuart Broad.
Well, welcome to our first ever live show with Charles Tyrwhitt. Jose, I feel like I've not seen you for ages. How are you, mate?
Not in person. I see you every week, obviously, on the pod. I'm good. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm excited. It's great to see so many people here. And yeah, let's get going.
Take it back to the start of the podcast. You'd just given up the England captaincy. Am I right in thinking, I heard a rumour that Baz had asked you to start smiling more in the mirror or something, practising smiling?
He did. I think that was the first headline I saw, actually, before I spoke to him on the phone about being captain, was I'll try and bring back the enjoyment for Jos Buttler and try and get him smiling again. So I actually did start practicing smiling in the mirror, but I probably jumped before I was pushed with the captaincy. And actually Rob Key was saying how serious my eyes looked and how much I needed to relax. So I started wearing sunglasses as well. So if you saw me wearing sunglasses on the side, it was because I was worried about the red mist my eyes were giving away.
It's such a different style of media, isn't it? When you're England captain and you do a press conference maybe the size of this room, you're looking after yourself, like the team, England cricket as a whole. Your answers have to be quite structured and serious. Whereas a podcast, you sort of, our mindset was, imagine you're just having a beer in a pub and chatting with a mate and talking cricket. Does it feel that different to you?
Yeah, it's really different. And obviously, having lost the captaincy, I'll call it that, it wasn't long after this opportunity came around, and I know you said to the producers and the guys behind it, no, Jos would be good, we can open him up, and there's a different side of him.
So it's Jos Buttler and Jos Buttler, they're different people.
Yeah, he said, no, trust me, he's not that boring as his interviews. But as captain, you are sort of protective of the team, and you're trying to come across the right way. And I know we've played with some players, and I'm sure guys in the audience can think of some people who just say it as it is, but as captain, you're trying to protect your team, and when results aren't going like you would want them to, you know, a lot of the time you are trying to put out fires, and there's some difficult questions coming from the media, and you can sometimes take it too personally. Whereas what I'm loving about this and the podcast is exactly that. It feels like two mates having a chat. Probably realised how much I enjoy talking about cricket with you, and obviously luckily there's a few people listening, so it's been great, and hopefully I've managed to open up and show that side of myself. But you've become part of the Sky furniture since you finished.
Yeah. Actually, the difference even in Sky to podcast, even last night we're recording, and Jos asked me about how this week went in the Test match and how England played. And with Sky, it's very structured, so you're sort of sticking to a timeline. So you have a minute and a half that you've got to hit a break, and you know a video of Ruti's coming, so you lead into Ruti. You know an advert's coming, so they'll count you down 10, 9, 8, and you've got to finish when that count stops. But last night I'd gotten this rant about how we bowled and how we were bad, and you just went, is this rant over, or are you just going to keep going? You know, like, what are we doing here? But I feel really lucky to have moved into the Sky commentary box. I think when you retire from professional sport, the big thing that people say is you miss that changing room environment, and you go from touring with England with 30 guys, and I moved into the Sky box, and it's the same changing room environment. You know, you get in the morning, there's a bit of banter, there's a bit of sort of excitement, freshness, and also that continuous improvement. You know, with cricket, you're always looking where you can get better as a player, and I think commentary is exactly the same. There's always ways you can improve your delivery and your timing and what you say. So I feel very lucky. I do absolutely adore it.
Yeah, well, two people who are massively part of that Sky furniture are Athers and NASA. Try and get that out.
Got a good nickname though, isn't it?
Yeah, you can get that in Trent Bridge when you're up at Trent Bridge. But one of the first discussions we had on our podcast was who you would rather go on a camping trip. So for those of you who missed it, who would you rather share a tent with, NASA or Athers?
Yeah, it's quite a tough question actually, because like, both lovely guys, like legends of the game. Nasser's probably the most unsociable man I've ever met in my life. You know, it's like, as soon as it goes off air, he's like, right, I'm going back to my hotel room. Apparently he was like this as England captain and everything. He just sits in his hotel room, watches TV, and you see him the next morning, just no interest in small talk, like very happy to sit in silence. But one thing I didn't know about Michael Atherton, right? He's got no sense of smell whatsoever, never has. So, which you wouldn't, I never knew. Like, obviously, when he's interviewing, you're not going to go, "You smelling that?" Or, you know. And where I'm going with this is, he sometimes like farts in the commentary box, and he stinks the place out. But he just carries on like normal, and just like everyone else is on the floor, and he's sort of calling the moment as normal. So, I'd have to share a tent with NASA and just accept the silence over what Michael Atherton could produce.
Well, the context behind that story is obviously you launch a podcast, you want to get it out there, and it's great to have a bit of media coverage if you can. And these were our first articles. And this is Athers, who getting a bit of, probably not the headlines he wanted, ex-England captain turned pundit Atherton.
Doing it classy, Daily Star.
Has dodgy guts. Did you get any
Oh,
shit
seriously, this was at Old Trafford, last summer. Walked into the commentary box the next morning. He's like, "My lawyers will be in touch. Don't worry about that. You can't say that about me." I was like, "Sorry."
He actually did text me that as well. So,
Yeah. I mean, we've had some great times on the pod so far. Have you got something that sticks out for you?
I think I've just really enjoyed talking cricket. I probably didn't know how much, should have been obvious really, being a cricketer for so long, that I really enjoyed talking about it. I enjoy watching it, and obviously since I shared a dressing room with you for a long time, but actually since you retired, I wasn't in the test side, with sort of careers go a different way. I haven't seen you loads. So it's actually been really enjoyable to sort of stay in touch that way by doing the podcast together. And then I think I really enjoyed, although it was tough for England, the Ashes, you know, it was quite surreal doing sort of podcasts and catch-up shows with Justin Langer, Matthew Hayden, guys. 2005 for me was sort of, you know, when cricket was at its best and so inspirational. So I was sort of like, it was quite surreal thinking, how am I now doing a podcast with these guys? So that's been amazing. I really enjoyed interviewing Baz.
You should have seen how nervous he was, right? We wanted to get Baz on the pod. I'm like, "Jose, what do you reckon? Just at training, just give him a tap on the shoulder, see if he'd do something." He's like, "I'm not doing that. There's no way." I was like, "Go on, like, please, we really need it." And bear in mind, when I'm in Oz, he's going, "Just tap Ricky Ponting on the shoulder, see if he'll come on the pod." I'm like, "I'm not doing it. I'm not doing that." But you did.
I did. Well, it took me 2 days, I think, to pluck up the courage to find it. It was almost, I think, it was like your first crush. It was like, when am I going to go and ask her if, you know, do you want to go on a date with me? But he was obviously so relaxed about it, but it was horrible. And being around training, I think, obviously, I'm really aware that I am still a player. This isn't my full-time job. So I didn't want to come across as like, "Oh, Baz, I know like I play cricket, but it's more important you now come on our podcast." But he was great, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's great.
It was absolutely brilliant to interview him. Obviously, the last few weeks have been a bit tricky, but the period before this and going back to, you know, your last 2 years really with England, call them the glory years if you want, but you know, Baz and Stokes taking over, that was such an exciting period of that test team, and probably one of the most enjoyable parts of your test career.
Absolutely, yeah. I miss that, particularly Baz. At the start, just set the tone so well for the experience he had in the changing room. So he knew that he had Bairstow, myself, Jimmy, Rooty, Stokesy, guys that are in their 30s now to play, just want to enjoy and have some freedom. So when he took over his first team talk at Lords, it wasn't a presentation with chalk and, you know, this is where we're going to make it to number 1 in the world. Just before training, he stood up and said, "Look, guys, I want you to enjoy yourselves. Just think about 30,000 people buying tickets out here on Thursday. They're coming to watch you. They could do anything they want to do. They could go to the zoo, the theatre, the football. They're coming to watch you. So don't think too much about it. Don't think about the result. Think about entertaining for that period of time while you're out there, while you've got the opportunity. Whether you hit 3 fours in a row and get out, that's great because people will go to the pub and go, 'Did you see Bairstow hit 3 fours in a row? How good was that?' They'll talk about the moment that they enjoyed in that day. So have at the front of your mind entertainment over the result. And over time, I think that's been construed that, oh, the players don't care about the result. That's not true. The pressure of the result's always there in international cricket. But the freedom he gave to experienced players, particularly that knew their game and knew how to deal with pressure, was outstanding. And then Stokesy's just, you know, the most authentic.
Tell us a bit, I'm sure some people have heard this story before, but Stokes' first net session and you were bowling.
Yeah, so Stokes and I are great mates, and he'd come up with this theory that he wanted everyone to play with less fear and take the game forward, play more attacking. And I've just got back into the team, so I was left out of the Caribbean in the sort of where Joe Root went on captain. I can't remember who was coach there. Was it Paul Collingwood or Chris Gothic? And then Baz took over, and Stokes, apparently his first sort of interview as captain, said, "I want Broad and Anderson back." So I'm a bit nervous. I've played a lot of test matches, but I'm nervous. It's the first net session back with the group. Baz as coach. Stokesy comes up to me because I'm bowling at him in the first list, and he's like, "I'm just going to try and hit every ball for 4 or 6 off you." I was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "I just want to try and hit a length in the net." He's like, "No, I need my teammates to look at me and know that this is how I'm going to train, so they have the freedom to go and practice things in the nets that then they can put into a game. So any ball you bowl, I'm going to try and hit you for 4 or 6, but just don't lose the plot. Don't get angry. Know it's coming. Just keep bowling it in the same place." He's like, "You're playing on Thursday, so don't worry about, I'm not judging you for your performance in this net, but just set me up to look good," basically. So I'm thinking, that's not great, that, is it? I'm trying to impress the new coach, and you're going to whack every single ball for 4 or 6. But away he went. He was dancing down, hitting over extra cover, and he had all this sort of Ollie Popes and guys going, "Wow, look at Stokesy, this is how he's practicing." And I think that was him trying to sort of set his stall out of how he wanted his team to play.
Yeah, he certainly did that for you. And another role that Baz and Stokesy gave you, which may be one of your most enjoyable roles, was the birth of the Nighthawk.
The Nighthawk, yeah. Gosh, what an unusual story this was. So we get to Trent Bridge, which is Baz's second game in charge, and New Zealand got 500 loads, and we're batting, we're going great. Rootie's 100 not out, Ollie Pope's 100 not out, so we're 300 odd for 2. And it's my home ground, Trent Bridge, so I know where the chocolate digestives are and the cup of tea. So I thought, I'm just going to make myself a nice brew, sit down in a quiet spot and watch some Test cricket, watch one of the greats of the game bat and score some runs. And it's a Saturday afternoon, sort of mid-afternoon. So I sit down, beautiful blue sky, just about to dip my biscuit in, and the door swung open. It's Baz. So I'm sort of like, "Right, Baz?" He's like, "All good?" Like, yeah. "Get your pads on." "What?" Like, "Go and get your pads on." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Well, look out there now. It's full house at Trent Bridge, but it's just a bit quiet. So I'm thinking, if you go out next with your pads on, they'll all go, 'What is going on here?' Give a big cheer. Go out there, try and hit your first ball for 6, and then get out." "Seriously?" He's like, "Yeah, please, go and get your pads on." So then, suddenly I'm down there, strapping the pads on. I'm going ahead of Johnny Bairstow, Ben Stokes, and Ben Folkes, like just sat there waiting to bat. And with a sole goal to hit my first ball for 6 and get out, just to get a cheer from the crowd. I mean, it sounds absolutely ridiculous. Unfortunately, we got to the second new ball, and I looked at Baz. I'm like, "You don't want me to go and face Trent Bolt, surely? Like, I'm not going to be able to lay bat on that." He's like, no, you sit down. I'll send Johnny now." So I didn't go. Didn't think anything of it. Just thought that's a one-off. And then a couple of Test matches later, we're at Edgbaston against India, and it's night of day 4. And we need 378 to win, I think, chasing. And I've bowled like 40 overs or something. I'm knackered. I'm just in the physio room at Edgbaston taking my tape off with Mark Wood. And the door flings open. I think, surely that doesn't mean. And there's about 40 minutes left of play. He goes, "Broadie, get your pads on." And I'm like, "Why? Why? What are we gaining from that?" He's like, "Well, the theory today is we need 378 to win. So we're not going for a draw. So if you go in, India will think you're a night watchman, and they'll have 4 slips, gully, short leg. Go and slog it. If you get 30, that's 30 off the total. And then, it doesn't matter if you get out, but it means we've churned away some runs." So I'm sort of get that theory. I said, I'm not going out there named a night watchman, because if I go out, get caught deep square leg, and then Joe Root comes in and nicks 1 to second slip, everyone's going to murder me in the press. So I'm not going out there if you're calling me a night watchman. So Baz goes, "Well, let's think of a different name." But this is...
But so who came up with this?
This is top flight sport, by the way. And we're sort of, it's late in the day, so Mark Wood's like, what attacks its prey at night, because you're going out there to try and score some runs. And Baz went like a hawk, and then Baz went, Nighthawk. I was like, all right, let's go. So like walked out there, put my pads on, and then for the rest, every single day, for the rest of my career, I'd walk in that change room and Baz would go, "Morning, Hawk, how are you getting on?" Unfortunately, I didn't actually get out to bat as a Night Hawk until New Zealand in a day-night game at night. But it was the most unusual thing because we'd bowl a team out in the 10 minutes, and we're walking off the pitch, and everyone's going, "Is Broady going? Is Broady going out to bat?" I'm like, "No, I'm not going out to bat. This is absolutely insane. It's not my job."
It's not your job, 150 tests in as well,
not my
especially
job.
of all the things that you've done. But I did see you quite hammed it up a bit, didn't you? You were quite active on Twitter about watching other games of cricket, like great time for the Nighthawk, send the Nighthawk now. So I haven't heard you say that on Sky recently, but
Then I feel like with all the controversy going on, they need a Nighthawk, don't they? Just take the emphasis off the curfew, just get a Nighthawk going.
yeah. With Baz, obviously there's, you see the stories like this. I think he's been absolutely fantastic over the last few years, and you mentioned some of the thrills and the success. You've got the results as well. Obviously, the Ashes didn't go as we wanted, but give some of the listeners here a bit of a snapshot into what he really like as a coach, because I think we can see, the sunglasses on the balcony, feet up, looks relaxed, and maybe dumbs it down a little bit as to how clever he is and how sort of sharp a cricket brain and how much of an operator he actually is as a coach.
Yeah, and at the end I'll ask you your thoughts on the white ball stuff, because definitely the sunglasses and cap is a deliberate ploy. He doesn't want to give his emotions away, and Trevor Bayliss used to do the same, your World Cup winning coach. Sunglasses, and he used to wear a floppy hat because he didn't want to feel like a batter walks in with a bad shot and look at him or make eye contact and get a judgment to the face. So I think he hides his...
Hence why they wanted me to wear sunglasses.
But he's definitely more detailed than he lays on. A small example of that, playing at Lord's in 23, he came up to me and said, "I want you to bowl pavilion end," and then just reeled off all this data about how my numbers at the pavilion end were better than the nursery. Although Jimmy prefers the pavilion end, he's going to swap it round because he wants sort of me nipping the ball away from the left-handers, etc. So definitely has people around him diving deeply into data, so he understands where he can pitch his tone. But he's a psychologist, basically, how I see it. He walks around the net sessions talking to everyone, how you doing, lifting spirits, making sure everyone feels valued and connected to the game. Not someone that throws a load of balls in test match cricket, but definitely an uplifter. He'll pick on someone in the change room, not, "Oh, well done, Rooty, you got 100. It'll be, "Jamie Smith, that 20 was absolutely crucial at that time," because that just builds, Rooty's fine, he's got his 100, but just builds Jamie Smith's emotions up if he's failed. Is it a similar sort of vibe in the white ball?
Yeah, I'd say it has been for a while, and then developed more so onto that. I'd say the last tour that we went on in Sri Lanka, probably even a bit more detail than I'd experienced probably with my time as captain. I'm sure you see it on the TV, the walkie-talkies, sort of going up and down with a few messages, just more discussions around scores. Obviously, with the white ball game, you don't get those natural breaks like you do in the test matches, where he will be able to give messages at lunch or tea or run those things on. So, I think he was really influential for English cricket in lots of different ways. It gave to 2015 when the white ball stuff really took off. A lot of that was, Morgan and McCullum are great mates, and Baz obviously captained that New Zealand side in 2015 so well. And I think we as an England side looked at them thinking, why can't we sort of emulate some of the risk taking, but with meaning to it? It wasn't a gamble. There was stuff that he was doing as that captain that would challenge teams, and he talks a lot about pressure. How can you transfer pressure onto sides and put pressure on? And I thought he did really well after a tough Ashes series, obviously recently going into that Sri Lanka series and then making the semi-finals of the World Cup. I thought he and Harry Brook have a brilliant relationship. I think they see the game very similarly. And Baz is smart. Those little tactical tweaks. He's really sharp on fielding positions. The hardest thing in white ball cricket mostly is working out ways to take wickets. And if you can't do that in white ball cricket at the moment, you see the scores run away. So he's really inventive when he needs to be. Sometimes he just wants you to sit in and do basic things well. And like I say, that won't always get, some of that is just in the dressing room. That won't always get out to the outside because he wants to give off that persona to the players that it's relaxed and stuff. But he'll pick the guys also in the dressing room, like I say. He has one-on-one meetings all the time, and a lot of the time without you realising as a player. It might be a bus journey somewhere, he'll come and sit down next to you. It might be just in the lobby, he'll just catch you, how you're going. And instead of sitting in a room like this and bringing up some graphs and tactics and a sort of really disciplined, cricketers generally switch off in classrooms, and he'll just pick you off in different areas. So he's really smart in that. I think that's one of his big strengths.
We must say congratulations on being named in the T20 side, or squad, to face India.
There's only 17 of us, so I'm in the
17.
squad.
He's got a chance of playing. He's in the squad, he's safe.
I'm in the squad, but no, I'm looking forward to it. It'd be great to be back.
Now, those that listen to the pod, we're big fans of this young Suryavanshi, 15-year-old kid who's coming over with India. He's almost, he's been put in sort of World 11 teams already, although he's never played for India. He's that sort of highly rated, and you've kept wicket behind him. You've seen him strike the ball as a 14-year-old now, a 15-year-old. Is he as good as everyone says?
I think so. I think I've said on our podcast he's the best cricketer I've ever seen. I just cannot work out how at 15 years of age you can play the way he does. And he's not doing it in any Mickey Mouse tournament. It's not against any... Now, what did we bring up? That stat, he's hit the first ball he's ever faced from Bumrah, Cummins and Hazelwood for 6. I mean, that... Of all the stats and records that you could have, I think that's probably the best one that I could ever imagine getting. He hit his first ball in the IPL for 6. And yeah, as a 14-year-old against my team, the Gujarat Titans, there's a little bit of hype about this kid. And I was going, well, let's look through our attack. We've got Mohammad Siraj, Rashid Khan, Prasid Krishna, pretty good attack. And 35 ball 100 later. And so that, I don't get any skepticism about, what can derail him. I just think he's 15 years old. Surely he's going to, I don't know how he gets better, but he will. He'll keep getting better. I know people talk about, can he do it in red ball cricket? Will he be a test match player? I'm sure that's his ambition. And if you can play these bowlers in the IPL, he's facing the best bowlers in the world. Yeah. Yes, it's in a T20 game, but it's not like he's scared of the pace. He can handle that. He can handle the occasion quite obviously. And clearly he's got the talent. So I don't see anything apart from maybe drugs and alcohol that could sort of derail him. But, so I think he's going to be a star. And actually, I hope he has a really bad series against England, obviously. But I would say if you can get tickets to go, it's one of these players that it's like, I'm sure you'll have your favourites who you just went to watch this guy. And it is that sense in India at the moment. And we turned up to play against Rajasthan Royals, and I'm driving in on the bus, and usually you would see, well, at that time, it'd be still Sanju Samson shirts. He's very popular. Even at home games of Rajasthan Royals, you'd see MS Dhoni shirts, Virat Kohli shirts. But we're driving in, and I'm catching this. 03 is his number, Suryavanshi. There's all the people who are arriving at the ground are wearing a Vaibhav Suryavanshi shirt. And he hasn't played for India yet, obviously. He will do very soon, but I just thought that is the pressure that comes with it. And Romy there, who's in the middle, he's the team manager for the Rajasthan Royals. I played for the Royals for 7 years, got to know them. But he was telling me that Vaibhav's from a very small state, small cricketing state called Bihar, which is very close to Kolkata. So they played an away game against KKR, a massive franchise, incredibly well supported. Half the ground for that away game for the Royals are wearing Suryavanshi shirts already. And he's got this song, they've made a song for him when he comes out to bat and all this stuff. So, and his latest record is an 11 ball 50 in List A cricket for India A the other day. So
I'd heard a rumour that, it's only an article, I'd heard a rumour that Mumbai Indians had offered him a private island in the Maldives to sign for him. So take the island, I reckon. Yeah, that's probably
I would
the
play. I was actually, I was so starstruck in this moment. I think Romy came over to me and said, Vaibhav would love to meet you. He knows you played for the Royals for a long time and he'd love to meet you. But I was definitely more starstruck.
There is no way you were more starstruck.
100%. 100%.
He's a 15-year-old kid who watched you do some pretty.
I know, but he's doing stuff that is. I think that's what's most demoralising. I thought I've had it. Let's move on to some Q&As. I know there's been a QR code up there, and some of you have sent in a few questions to us. So before we go to a a quick interval. The first question is for you, Broady, from Owen. Where is Owen? He's here. Owen's here. So, Broady, he wants to know, why did you decide to switch the bails in the Ashes match against Australia?
Good question. So it's actually the first time I tried it was on day 3, I think, the Saturday, and we'd turned up at the ground. Marnus Labuschagne's batting, and he was being so boring. Seriously, it was like 9 off 62 balls, and I'm at mid-on, and I think Mark Wood's bowling, and I see a group of like 5 people get up and walk out to go and get a coffee or a beer, and I thought, this isn't what Test cricket's about or cricket's about. People should be engaged in it. And we hadn't created a chance, an LBW appeal, no plays and misses, no boundaries. And it was like, come on, seriously, it's an hour's play's gone now. So I thought, Marnus is the most like structured, routine-based cricketer you'll know. Everything is the same every single ball. So I just thought, I'm going to walk up to him. Didn't really know what I was going to do, but just get in his space, not sledge him or say anything to him, but just change his routine. And as I got to him, I'd sort of remembered that someone had told me that in Australia, if you flip the bails, it brings a change of luck. I've now asked like 30 Australians, no one's ever heard of that, so I think I made that up on the spot. So I just got there, looked at him, flipped the bails over, and walked away. And he said something to Usman Khawaja at the other end. Got back to my mid-on mark, and Woody ran in, away swinger. He's nicked it. Joe Root took an amazing catch at first slip. And I was running to Stokesy actually at mid-off to celebrate with Stokesy, my captain, like, unbelievable. And I grabbed Usman Khawaja on the shoulders and went, it worked. And he's like, get up from there, what are you doing? And it was such a weird feel. I got to the huddle and we're like high-fiving everyone, and everyone's like, Broady, that was amazing. I was like, I didn't do anything. Like Woody's just bowled a Jaffa, basically. So that's where it sort of originated, out of boredom, really, and trying to bring a bit of theatre to the game.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I think you have created a monster in that. I don't know if anyone saw the other day, Hassan Ali playing for Yorkshire ran down and changed them round. And then is it Sam Main was batting, I think? Or someone changed them back. And of course, Johnny Bairstow has to get involved. He's run up and changed them round again. So there's nothing to do with Australians. You have just created this, and it's an absolute shambles from there on in.
I must admit, there's a lot of parents the weeks following when I'd done that, sort of saying, what have you done that for? All the kids are just like flipping the bails every ball. So I do apologise for that, but I quite enjoyed it at the time. Another one, probably for both of us here, Sam Bawani. Sam, nice to see you. How do you deal with losing matches when you know you've got a better team and players, but on the day, the opposition just grabs the victory? There are quite a few of those.
A few of those, yeah. Good question. I think, they say, when you know you're the better team, I think, obviously, you've just got to start with yourselves. Where did we fail? What was, not fail, I don't like the word failure, but what went wrong? The stuff that we could control in our team, and personally your own individual performance. What is the stuff that is under your control? And actually I would have a bit of a checklist and go through that kind of stuff. I'd do that individually after most games. Did I prepare really well? Did I challenge myself in my practice? Mentally, was I in the right space of mind? If I can tick all those off and say I did that, then sometimes against really good teams and sometimes against teams that you think you should beat, you still might lose the game. And unfortunately, when you do start any game, whether it's a game of cricket, a game of cards or whatever, there's going to be a winner and a loser. And unfortunately, sometimes, you just don't play the way you want to, or you could actually look through that checklist and say, I didn't prepare as well as I should. For the next game, I need to make sure I do X, Y, and Z to give myself the best possible chance of winning and beating them in the next game. That's what it sort of is like for me. Anything to add?
No, I think most top flight sports people take notes and evaluate their own performance, and teams evaluate their own performance. So, you were saying in the IPL about how the Gujarat Titans, if they won, they're almost more sort of interesting team meetings than if you lose, because you're trying to figure out how you can get better. And yeah, I used to write notes and have a little checklist at the end of each day. And if I could check them off individually, generally you've had an impact on the game, which helps your team have a decent impact. So, and also don't stew on losses too long. And my mum always said, it's a 24-hour rule. You've got to figure out what you did wrong, how you can move forward, and I hate that sort of saying find the positives. But you've got to soak in why you've lost, but also, what you can do better in that next game. We've got a question from Joe. Should Jimmy Anderson come out of international retirement? It's not Joe Root, is it? Should Jimmy Anderson come out of international retirement? He got a game last week, I reckon.
Well, on the intro, one half of the most successful opening partnership is here. We were actually just before coming on stage looking at, you showed me a picture of Jimmy batting at Chesterfield in front of no one, that actually your mum and Jimmy's mum were there watching.
Chesterfield to watch Derbyshire-Lancashire yesterday and drank a glass of rosé with Jimmy's mum and sat in a deck chair and watched the day's cricket. So sending me, I got 30 pictures of Jimmy playing cricket yesterday. I'm like,
do you know what?
I've seen it, mum. I've seen him do that before.
Your mum is probably thinking, can you both come out of international retirement so I can sit at the top of the oval with a glass of rosé watching that game instead of, probably a warm glass of rosé in Chesterfield. So for the sake of both of your mums, can you both unretire from international?
Do you know what I can see? Or can I see it? Maybe it's out of hope. I think he could play another year. He's fit as anything. He seems to be bowling well. And if it's 1-1 in the Ashes, and you're getting a green seamer, and there's injuries, would part of you think, just get Jimmy out for one game? Yeah. I would be tempted, but he is one of my great mates, so maybe I'm slightly skewed on that, but he can still do the job, can't he? Now, you might have noticed we've got an extra chair added next to us, and that's because we've got a special guest joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, can you give us a massive round of applause for 3-time Ashes winner, Stephen Finn.
He's not an easy man to keep as a special guest, actually. He's that big, isn't he?
No. Did you get spotted at all?
One chap in the toilet, actually. And I had a selfie. And we had a selfie and he didn't even wash his hands. I've been penned up there right at the back with the sound guys, and I've been holding a wee for 45 minutes, and they were like, "We can't go because everyone's going to see you." So here we are.
But you're fine now.
Well, I'm not, but it's okay.
You sound flustered.
We'll just crack on.
Now, I have to say, it's probably been a good couple of weeks for you to have not got the England selectors job.
Yeah. I mean, I was the one who drove the cab from the White Horse to the Rex Rooms and dropped the boys off. Yeah, it's been an interesting few weeks, and Marcus North's been a bit busy, hasn't he, making phone calls?
Yeah. Now, Finney's sort of known in the media trade as a triple dipper. What I mean by that is he'll be on TMS 1 minute, then he'll be on the highlights, then he'll be in the hospitality boxes, chipping around. Busy man, aren't you?
Well, I missed out on the IPL, so I've just got to do everything that I possibly can to keep the boat afloat. But they're great weeks, aren't they? The Test match weeks, and the best thing actually about the Test match weeks is us all, like you guys saying, since you guys stopped playing with each other, that it's hard to catch up. I'm godfather to your youngest child, and it's hard for us to catch up. But Test match weeks, everyone is in the same building. So Broad, you'll come and sit next to me for 20 minutes, and we'll talk rubbish, and then pop off and do our own things. And yeah, they're really fun, and triple dipping is just a bonus.
Yeah, you can get where water can't, isn't that right? And but I think surely the highlight of your media career so far would be interviewing me, wouldn't it? For BBC.
Well,
feels awkward.
It was. It was awkward.
Well, it had an awkward ending, didn't it? But it's you're so nervous because also this was your first interview since you'd stopped being captain of England, wasn't it? Like your first long form interview. So I was clearly conscious of the fact that one of my best mates, I'm going to have to ask him a couple of tough questions. So I gave you some half volleys to begin with about your early life, and then you try and ask a couple of hard hitting ones. But yeah, you want to do that kind of thing justice. So we had this whole we're walking around this beautiful castle, weren't we, just outside Manchester?
If there is such a thing in Manchester.
Well, yeah, it was medieval, wasn't it? I hit my head on everything, basically. And we got to the end of this interview, and it'd been really nice. Jos gave some amazing answers. I didn't mess up any of my lines, and it got to the end, and we had to finish, and I didn't know how to finish it. I hadn't thought in my head how to get out of the interview to round it off. So my last line to him was, enjoy the rest of your career. Good luck.
I think it was actually, I look forward to watching your career develop. To which I burst out laughing. I thought, I'm 35, mate. I don't know how much more it's going to develop. But, probably. Well, one of the last times we'd have all played together would be the 2015 Ashes, which was really, really memorable series. Someone got 8 for bowled pretty well, Finney, but it was a massive, massive series for you. I'm sure there's people in the audience who will have read your book, The Ashes Files, which...
Good night's sleep if you shrugged it.
But, I think, listening to you talk through those memories, 2015 was a massively pivotal moment in your career, wasn't it? So just tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I think Ashes cricket is the pinnacle for guys who've not played in the IPL and were purely focused on Test match cricket when I was younger. And yeah, you want to make a mark in those kinds of series. I think the circumstances around me coming back into that series, having not played for a couple of years, had an added bit of impetus on the top of it. But yeah, if I could relive one moment in my life again, it would be nicking off Steve Smith in that first over back after having had 2 years out of the Test team. And then just the weight of the world falling off your shoulders. And
I remember it sort of hung in the air to slip, didn't it? Everything stood still.
Yeah, and Cookie, who usually has hands for feet, he was... He was.
I was quite glad I didn't stick a hand out in front of him because not sure I'd have held onto it.
But if I could relive a minute of my life, it'd be turning at the top of my mark and letting that ball go and seeing it edge, you not going for it, and then Alistair Cook catching it. It was a special moment. And then just the way the rest of that series transpired, the 8 for 15 at Trent Bridge, and then the celebrations after that were worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw you give Sonny Baker his cap this week at the Oval, and I'm sure people have seen. That was a really awesome speech. I think you talked about the phases of that cap, and you can probably remember moments like that when you're now in that privileged position when you get asked back to start someone else's journey in that cap.
Yeah, and that's again you're nervous giving those speeches. You guys like NASA are experienced at doing it and are amazing at delivering speeches like.
By the way, a tough experience have to be 3 people.
Yeah, but I went first. So the key is there's a funny story.
Did you say I'm doing it if I go first?
Well, it's the first question I asked. I was like, how are we doing this? Batting order or alphabetical? Because if it was batting order, I'd have had to go last, which by the time you're going last in those situations, everything that can be said about wearing the England cap has been hoovered up. So I was like, the first thing I checked, I was like, Sonny Baker would do it alphabetical. He was like, yeah, okay. So I went first. So I had an absolute free run at it. Trescothick went last, so he had the short straw. But yeah, you just don't want to mess it up because it is such a big moment. Like I was given mine by Michael Atherton, who's a great speaker, and you want to give knowledge and experience without imposing yourself upon it, and you want to say what it means to wear the England cap, because once you're retired, you have more of a respect and an understanding for it than I think when you're in the midst of doing it. So I wanted to give a bit of that experience as well, because the longing to do it one more time was the message that I wanted to get across to him, because when you finished, you don't realise how good it is until you don't do it anymore.
We're talking about the Ashes. It's a different beast touring Australia. What's it like as a pom in Australia?
Well, I've done the last 5 tours in different capacities, and there's only one that's gone well, and that was the 10-11 one. But it's when you turn up, it's just different. You always land in Perth first, because closest to fly to. Your first warm-up game is generally in Perth if you decide to play a warm-up game. Easy jibes, they're easy jibes, easy jibes.
No way, you didn't get that selector off.
Yeah, and you get off in Perth, and the first thing you're greeted with, you've just got off a 18, 19-hour flight, and you're walking through your England cricket bags, and they say, have you got sports equipment in there? And you're like, well, I've got 3 England cricket bags. What do you reckon? Have you got spikes? So you have to get your spikes out, and if there's any dirt on your spikes, you're there scrubbing your spikes because you're not allowed any soil or dirt into Australia. So that's your first welcome to Australia. You then walk through, and there's guys following, and luckily I was a nobody. They'd be following him and Kevin Peterson. What are you going to get up to in Australia with the cameras right in your face? And the first warm-up game, you might remember this fella in 2010, Broady. We played the first warm-up game against WA, and there's just one guy turns up in the members stand, typical corkscrew hat, and he's going, "It's going to be a long fucking summer, boys." Hey, it's going to be a long fucking summer. Are you going to get pumped, boys? And then I came on to bowl, and he's going, "Finn, you're not going to get wickets bowling short and wide." Screaming it all day, relentless, all day, every day, all 3 days. So we think nothing of it. We like make a joke out of this guy. We're like, God, if this is what it's going to be like let's make people like that shut up. Comes to the Perth test, same fellas there, corkscrew hat, VB beers, and I wasn't bowling that great, and he was sledging, and there's a funny photo of me like shushing someone in the crowd. That game, it's the only time I got animated taking a wicket. It's me shushing this bloke in the crowd who'd been on my back for like 2 months. So we end up winning that trip. Everything goes great. Like we're all making a joke of shutting up this Australian bloke. 3 years later, we go back for the 2013-14 Ashes. Didn't go quite as well. But you fly into Perth, land in Perth, scrub your boots, get the cameras in your face, go to the Wacker to play your first warm-up game, corkscrew hat, VB beers, same fella. And I came on to bowl, and I did bowl a shower shit in this game. And he was like, "Finn, I remember you. You were shit then and you're shit now." And I reckon every time I've been back to Australia since, same story.
Has he had a go at your commentary?
Yeah, well, I was worried this time round. I was banging on the commentary box window. Yeah, I've shook him off, thankfully, finally.
I think in 2010, actually, you talk about the crowd giving you abuse, but I remember you bowling at the Gabba, and Brad Haddon was flying at you, or you felt like he was coming quite aggressively at you. Is that right?
Well, yes, yeah, he was. Again, it's I was like 21 years old, so I was clearly like the weak link in the team. There's like this team of great players, and then a phantom 21-year-old playing at number 11, and they clearly saw it as a way of getting stuck into me and trying to break me down, I suppose, for want of a better phrase. And it was in the partnership that him and Mike Hussey had. And he like, slapped me out to deep cover. And every time he ran past me, he'd say, "You're fucking shit, mate." It's like every time. And like for a session, and you just stomach it because, I'll bowl him bouncers, and you just have like a playoff like that through the game. That's cricket. You accept that's going to happen. But I was in the bathroom at the Gabba at an interval, and there's some conjecture over this because he didn't think it was the people that we'd said it was it? So I was stood, and I'm 99% sure it was Matt Pryor and Kevin Peterson. I was stood having a wee in between, and I said, like, "Lads, I'm not grass here, but like every time Haddon is running past me, he's getting stuck into me. He's telling me I'm useless. I don't care. It's like I don't think anyone else can hear it." So at the beginning of the next session, what I believe, 99%, to be those two guys escorted him out to the middle, basically as a show of strength, saying, like, "You want to come after the youngster, we're all coming after you," kind of thing. And that togetherness and the way that we combated situations like that throughout the tour was part of the reason I think why we ended up winning that Ashes.
Yeah, great. Now, moving on to, what was it, 2017, 18? There was a bit of an incident at Bristol that Jose alluded to earlier. And you were picked on that tour to go to Australia, and you were warned to not go on Jose's stag do. Is that right?
Yes. So.
But you went.
Well, yeah, I did.
Good friend.
Oh, good, a good mate. And I'd also just lost my central contract, so I was like, well, they're not going to stop me going. But in the build-up to the stag do, like they knew it was going on. Bristol happened, and there was just a plethora of like blokes pulling out of the stag do, weren't there? Like I think
Strauss called me and said, "Don't you dare go on that stag do. Cancel your flights. You're not going." I was like, but can we go in? You're not going.
And I had the same phone calls, but I decided to go because I'm an idiot.
Because I noticed you're 6'7". And
yeah, and that I think you probably saw the photo earlier of what ended up transpiring. But yeah, we got there, and we thought it would be funny to buy a a sex toy and throw it around and play catch with this thing.
Prepare for the Ashes.
Yeah, prepare for the Ashes. It's hand-eye coordination, isn't it? So we're having this laughing, joking. We're on a stag do, like we've been drinking since 5 o'clock in the morning or something. And I get to about 10 o'clock at night, and my phone was just blowing up with calls and messages from Andrew Strauss, and I was like, "What? Am I seeing that right?" So I didn't answer the call, but then the messages came through, and it was, "You're trending on Twitter, your front page news on the Sun Online and the Mail Online for what you've been up to in Amsterdam." And I was like, "Oh dear, that doesn't look good." So I have never had a quicker sobering moment than that. And so you go through then to the Ashes tour, and because of everything that had happened, we had a meeting at the airport. So generally the night before you fly to the Ashes, you will meet up at the Heathrow airport, have a team dinner or whatever, have a meeting, and then fly the following morning to go to Australia. So we meet up at the airport, have dinner, go to this meeting, and Andrew Strauss is at the front with a PowerPoint presentation of this whole thing of like, we need to keep our sponsors, we're losing sponsors, we can't afford for bad press. And then he pulls up like a big screen like this of like all the front page headlines that there had been over the last few months. And one of them was me stood there with this massive sex toy. And I couldn't help but burst out laughing. I was like, "I'm so sorry, Straussy." And Broady had an amazing final send-off, taking that wicket, nicking off Carey, wasn't it? That was your final act in international cricket. My final act has been pictured on the front page of the Sun, or page four of the Sun newspaper doing that. That's the last time I was ever in the paper as an England cricketer. So it's my legacy.
But one of my favourite bits of it was we were staying in this like, proper dormitory style hotel, and it was only me, Finney, and Owen Morgan who were cricketers, because the rest didn't have the stomach to come on the stag do. And so Finney said how quickly he'd sobered up. But the next morning, there's a load of hungover blokes lying in these like bunk beds, and Finney is outside on the pavement going up and down, up and down, up and down, obviously talking to, it must be Strauss, your missus, maybe mum and dad. And so he's panicking away.
Shame on the family.
And then we've got other lads making a phone call in the dormitory going, Mum, I'm in the paper. Can you go to the shop and buy a paper? I'm just stood behind Stephen Finn with a dildo. And it was their claim to fame and the only time they'd ever been in a paper. So, but maybe we should move on from there. Let's talk about Broady's Ashes, 25-26. Now, Broady, you went to Australia for the Ashes last winter, but not as a player, as a commentator. Let's have a little look at your highlights.
We've loved talking you through the Ashes over in Australia. It's been a wonderful experience.
I think the Aussies will end up falling in love with each other.
Pulled in! Stark again! Avery once more! Gone cheaply!
I think I've been sent it 1,000 times, maybe. It's been flipped by all sorts of different like cricket accounts into different memes and gifs.
Broady's a wanker.
I didn't know I could say that.
Everybody. Broady's a wanker.
And they pick up the golf ball, go, "Oh great, I found the Callaway." And they'll see the England cricket logo and go, "Ah."
Easy.
So, Broady, how was it? And did you like my gift, the billboard?
So as I was leaving for Oz, we recorded a pod in London, and Jose was like, "I've got a gift for you when you get to Oz." So I'm like, "What?" He's like, "That's all I'm telling you. It's land."
No.
Hey, a bottle of champagne. Is everyone? Are you all right in the crowd, by the way? What landed there?
Took my finger off.
Assuming that's sparkling water.
Sparkling, yeah, cheers.
Are you all right?
I'm all right, yeah.
Where did that end up?
It's still up.
Where is it? Oh, unfortunately, I wasn't facing you. But, no, you got
Where
away
were
with it.
you? Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. So I land in Perth, obviously 17 hours straight, as I look like I've just flown. And Chuck, the producer, who's with me, is like, "Oh, come into the arrivals." So I'm like, "For goodness sake, I just want to get to the hotel." So I'm expecting that Jos has got me like a nice cold pint of Australian beer to like welcome me to Perth. I'm looking around, but there's nothing. It's like a W.H. Smith and what's going on? What's going on? I turned around and he'd got this advertisement billboard on the arrivals of just, well, the podcast's great, but my face of like, "You think I got rid of me? You got rid of me?" Or something. I literally was like, "Oh, cheers, Jose. That's absolutely insane and ridiculous." But
I said we should have just put Stuart Broad is still a shit bloke, but I think it had to be a little bit more
yeah, you
PC.
couldn't swear unusually in Australia. But no, I mean, I had a wonderful time. I spent a lot of time with you, Finny, didn't I? But the sort of meme that blew up, I think we all felt the same if you were watching, where England had the game like 100 for 1, scruff of the neck, just bat for an hour, and we lost Duckett, Pope, Brooke, and it's like, right, calm down, Ruti's still there. Then Ruti chops on, and then I got Matthew Hayden like screaming in my ear. I just had to close my eyes just for a moment, like just like shut me out of this. This isn't happening.
Stuck again. Avery once more. Gone cheap. Session. And now what a piece of brilliance.
Stuart Broad starting the commentary box. You are taking wickets galore. What the 76 can you believe in Australia? I told you, no one going anywhere.
Enough of that. Enough of that. Yeah.
I'm sure they didn't mention it as the tour went on.
It was that was actually, so producer Chuck was in Adelaide next test, and someone had a T-shirt printed with that picture on. He was just walking around the grounds like, "I know that picture. I know that bloke." So yeah, it was something that went viral pretty quickly, just through Aussies enjoying my absolute sort of agony of the situation. But we had a fun time, didn't we?
We did, yeah. It was more fun before the afternoon of day 2 at Perth than it was after. But yeah, I think the frustrating thing about it was it just felt like, because when you're in the press box, right, it's crazy because you walk out the back of your commentary box you're working in, and it's like a Hall of Fame cricket hall, isn't it?
Yeah,
like you walk back and you've got like him, Hayden, McGrath, Gillespie, all of them there, Ponting, just sat watching the cricket on a screen. And before lunch or at lunch on day 2 at Perth, they were ready to flip the other way. The knives were out. You sense it in the press box, like what the mood is amongst the guys there. And they were ready to turn on Australia, which when we won in 2010-11, that's the one thing that we did, was we turned Australia on themselves. And by the end of it, everyone was lauding us. You walk down the street and rather than being told you're useless, everyone was saying, "We love how much you're sticking it to Australia. Isn't it great?" And that's the biggest challenge down there. And England had it in their fingertips at lunch on day 2 at Perth, and they didn't manage to turn the screw, and then the rest of the series transpired. But it was a fun trip. I mean, Australia is a great place for all the stick that we give it. I love going there. I've got a lot of great friends there. I just would have loved to see England win. It would have made it so much better.
Yeah. Well, probably the highlight for me of that trip, I know we brought Finny on as a special guest. We have our other special guest over there, David Warner.
I feel like he should
Now,
be closer.
Rory, I want to know how, after all the rigmarole that you and Warner had over your career, were you working for Australia Tourism? Yeah. Has anyone seen this advert? It is worthwhile if you've not. How the hell did that come about? And I wish we had, it's probably not allowed to play the clip, but...
How did it come about? I got an email saying, "Would you film something with David Warner?" And I didn't sort of read much more into it. And I turned up, I was like, "What are we doing?" It's like, you're running along Bondi with like surfers, and you can have a beer and like chink. And we just said, "Look, let's just imagine we're David Brent and really like buy into the fact that we're going to have to do this." And it was great fun. It's 4 hours in Sydney. But they actually put it together really well, and I couldn't watch it. You've had that. You've had it when you post on Instagram. They're like, "You've got to post this now." I couldn't bring myself to watch the minute. I was like, "Oh, like how is this gonna come out?" And then you start getting WhatsApps and texts from everyone like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you've done that." And like, is it that bad? Is it that bad? But the worst bit was actually running up and down the beach, because everyone, like David Warner's pretty famous in Australia, so everyone was like stopped on Bondi, like, just watching us run up and down this beach, which was painfully embarrassing.
Painfully. Well, you've managed to wind up the Aussies in lots of ways over the years, but probably my favourite, and I'm sure many people here would be 2023. Luckily, you were the person to go out to bat once Johnny Bairstow had been stumped or run out, or I don't know what we call it. But just give us a little bit of a paint the picture of that day and give us it through your eyes.
Yeah, so I was next into bat. Johnny was out there, and so when you're in the Lord's change room, you actually can't see much of the ground. It's not a good ground to watch from. So generally, when you're waiting to bat, you sit in your spot, an armchair like this, and you watch on the telly. So I'm sat there waiting, and I'm watching on the telly. It's about a 3 or 4 second delay, and I hear this sort of groan out in the crowd, a bit of a half an appeal. So I said, Baz, what's going on? Like, Baz is just looking on the balcony. He's like, oh, there's a bit of a end of over run out appeal. Sure, it'll be all right. And I saw it on the big screen on our TV. I was like, that's like nothing. It looks like Johnny's just going to go and say, like, how's it to Stokesy? So I sat back down. And they were sort of running through replays. And then I thought, like, there's no way the Aussies will uphold that appeal. And then I hear this massive boo from the Lord's crowd. I'm like, Baz, what's happened? He's like, he's out. And what does that mean? You're in. I'm like, oh my God. Helmet, like, I'm rushed already. Like, gloves on, say, scramble down, get into the long room. And normally, when you're the next batter in and you're walking past the guy that's out, you sort of have a couple of seconds. Like, how is it? What's the light like? What is the bounce going through? Okay, is it seaming, swinging, whatever? Johnny just walks past me like breathing so heavily, like a bull, like stormed off. And that was my like first connection of the anger, apart from the crowd. It was like, he is furious there, gave me nothing, didn't even look at me. But I've not really seen and studied the incident. I just thought, well, that's not out. So walked through the double doors of the long room, and it's quite unique, the long room, that you are literally like touching distance of the members. And there's a guy sort of staring at me, sat on a stool, and I'm sort of like double taking and looking, and he's staring at me. And I make eye contact just before I leave the long room, and he goes, "That was a disgrace." And I remember thinking, was it? Is it that bad? Are people feeling this horrendous about it? So I like run over the boundaries edge, as I always do. Out I go, and because it's the end of the over, Pat Cummins, the Aussie captain's walking towards me to bowl the over from the pavilion end. And he's just staring at me, as generally Aussies do, don't they? They want to make you feel uncomfortable when you get into the crease. They want you to feel like they're on top of the game. So I look back at him, and for some unknown reason, I just went, "You're a disgrace." Like, straight out. And as I said it, I was like, they're not even my words. I've literally... I wanted to just go, I've just nicked that from that fella there. He said that. I didn't mean to say that. It just came to my mind. But quick as a flash, he just went, "Oh, yeah, Broady, you're hardly the face of the spirit of cricket." I thought, pretty good reply, but it sent me into red mist. I was like, I just went into this sort of zone of attacking everyone in a green cap. So I walked past Stokesy, like, tap gloves, and said, "I'm just with you, like, I'm in." And I went through a weird old phase. I was sort of saying "in" to everything. Do you remember that? I was like, every time I faced a ball and it went to an Aussie, I was like, "In, I'm in, I'm in." Not done that since I was like 12 years old. And then I said something to Alex Carey like, "Oh, that's all you're going to be remembered for, mate," and just lost the plot. And after about 20 minutes, Stokesy, who's the skipper, sort of taps gloves, and he's like, "You all right?" I'm like, "Whew, sorry, Skip, I'm all over the place, to be honest. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I've just lost the plot, but I'm with you. Don't worry. Like, I'm staying with you." He's like, "Keep going." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Have a look around the field now. The Aussies, they're looking at the ground. They're not interested. Like, they've lost. They're not even talking about plans to me, as in Stokesy. They're bowling terribly. I'm getting 4 balls. Keep attacking them because they're not as a team out here. They're just looking after themselves individually." So I had 20 minutes of red mist, and then I had 2.5 hours of acting. And it was just ridiculous, really. I was doing things like Pat Cummins was at long on, and I'm like, "Pat, all these boos, they're for you, they're all for you." And there was a moment where Mitchell Stark, I mean, I know how painful it is to get hit for a 6, and Mitchell Stark's bowling from the nursery end, and Stokesy's like middling a few. And he's bowling short, and Stokesy would hit it to Old Father Time. And as Stokesy would hit the middle of Stokesy's bat, I was at the non-striker's end going, "Woohoo!" 6 more, Stokesy, shot boy. Starkey's just walking past, oh, just fuck off, mate, you know. And it was all a bit of a wind-up act from there. But I think my favourite moment was at lunch. Obviously, all that had gone on, and then we get into the change room, and we saw that Warner had kicked, or someone had kicked Warner in the shin, and all these sort of rumours. But Johnny's still absolutely fuming. It's like an hour's gone past. And Johnny, I've played with him for 15 years at Lord's. He only ever sits in his spot in the changing room by the coffee machine with a towel over his lap and eats his lunch in there, because you can either eat in the change room or up in the lunchroom. Well, this day he's gone up to the lunchroom. So everyone, it's quite a small lunchroom, isn't it? You've got like a table there, match officials, Aussies, a big screen on the wall that are just showing this over and over again. Everyone's like tucking into their chicken and sweet potato. Johnny's not got anything on his plate. And he's just staring at the Aussie. Just like making eye contact as well with all of them. And sort of, it's a bit weird for us. We're like, you all right, John? And Zach Crawley's a bit of a wind-up merchant, and Zach's going like, disgraceful, that one. It's unbelievable they've done that. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely mad. I can't believe it. Johnny, do you think they're happy with that? It's unbelievable. They do. And he goes, Johnny, you should ask them if they're happy with that. And he slams his hand on the table. You know, you can imagine like the plates just jump, stands up. So everyone's like, whoa. Johnny, are you happy with that, lads? You happy with that? Like, David Warner went, yeah, we're pretty happy with that, Johnny. Then everything just went silent. It sat down, and then everyone's so awkward. But yeah, it was 20 minutes of red mist, and then 2.5 hours of acting. And you know what? Looking back, it was all a bit of a nonsense, but we only lost by like 30 runs. Johnny could have got those 30 runs.
Yeah, it was. I didn't even know the result really in the end. It was all just so good to see that. The Ashes will be upon us again soon, 2027. Finny, call it now. What's going to happen next year in the Well,
England win 5-0, obviously. No, I do think England will win the next Ashes, I think. I don't need to say much more now. I think England will win the next Ashes.
With Stokes or without Stokes?
With Stokes, as captain.
Yeah, up with that.
there you go.
Yeah, I sort of view it as last week was a one-off, that Oval team. You know, it was a team that you didn't really recognise when it comes out on Instagram, wasn't it? A bit like, oh, okay, that's like really different. I think if we can have the right people fit at the right time, Aussies are an ageing team. There's no doubt about that. I won't go and say they're the worst team since 2010 or whatever, but they're, you know, it all depends on Cummins, Hazelwood, Stark, Lyon. They didn't stay fit this winter, but in our conditions, I think they have to stay fit. So I genuinely think England will win the Ashes. Bear in mind, we've not won a series since 2015. It's a long time. So it does feel like it's the right time for us to strike.
Yeah, it's been a long time. We talked about Ashes, which is the pinnacle of cricket for us. But the other favourite segment of our show, alongside the awkward handshakes, is village cricket clips. So we see the complete other end of the spectrum. And we've got a few clips that we talk through on the podcast, and we're just going to show a few of our favourites tonight. No.
Oh, this is a beautiful. This is a beautiful.
We've all been done by the spin before, haven't we? What are the chances?
You know what? As soon as that edge hits, everyone's going, spin, spin, watch out for the spin. That's just wonderful, isn't it?
We actually showed. we showed this one to one of the greatest fielders of all time, A.B. de Villiers.
He's down there, isn't
He's got to be concussed, doesn't he?
Might need a concussion. Yeah. Here we go.
this is one of my
Last
favourites.
one.
Mr. 360.
Have you ever got in that position keeping?
I don't think I have. But I would say you are a bit worried if the batsman does turn around, as you say, a proper Mr. 360 there, isn't he? And he's smacked him right up the arse. But there we go. So
Now we have got a giveaway.
We have?
Giveaway. Yeah, we have. We've got a bat and a ball somewhere. And Finney, you're going to bowl a ball at Jose. Under
Don't
Armour
have a
over
back
them.
spasm.
I think they're over there. And Jose's going to hit it into the crowd. And whoever catches it is going to win a Jose signed match
I
shirt.
hope I.
Do you want to pull it?
Where are you going to bowl it?
Shall I get out of the way?
Do you want a helmet?
Have you signed the shirt yet?
I have signed the shirt.
Yeah, I've signed.
Right, are we ready? Congratulations, that was a good catch. It was a bit of competition. We'll have some sort of awkward handshake. There we go. And that is now yours. Congratulations.
Well done.
Good bowl.
Finney just said to me he was concerned he was going to miss the cut strip up here.
It'd be harmless in it.
Did well.
Yeah, that was all right. Straight enough, wasn't it?
Now we're going to do a little Q&A session like we did at the end of part 1. Now the first question is Hermit. Where's Hermit? Hermit, here we are. Who was hard to face the nets, Jose? Broad, Anderson or Finn? Be careful.
Well, the only one who isn't here is Jimmy, so I'll say Jim. I'll say Jim. But let's see. I'll go through all three of you. Jimmy, you just didn't rate you at all when he's like he just thought.
He's an angry net bowler as well, isn't he?
Angry net bowler. He just looked at you as if you were just, how are you in the same team as me? Like this is. But he did do that to everyone. It wasn't just me. He would be the same to Alistair Cook, and so he was at least consistent. Finn in the nets.
I had the odd drag down in me. So.
The odd drag. Do you know what you had? Is the accidental bumper.
Yeah.
That was.
Always came after a boundary.
Which actually, I remember Middlesex versus Lancashire at Lords just before lunch, and I thought, yeah, Finney's a good mate of mine. He'll look after me. And I reckon last ball before lunch bumped me, and we sort of had this smoke walking off, and I think I said you something as we walked off. But Broad was probably the one I actually found the hardest, and actually for a pure cricketing reason, was his angle of his run-up, which you can't always get in the nets. But so Broadie had this sort of wide-angled run-up, which I felt, it just felt like everything was going to hit the stumps to me. So some guys run in straight, and actually you feel like if they start the ball a bit wide, then it's quite easy to leave because there's no way from the angle that they've let the ball go with their run-up that's going to hit the stumps. Whereas Broadie actually was probably one of his great strengths was he would run on this angle that, you know, midway through his run-up, I was like, I'm going to have to play at this. I'm going to have to play it. It's going to hit the stumps. And had the ability, obviously, to still take the ball away from you, or ones that pitch, actually, when you see it back on video, you're like, that's actually quite wide, but it felt straight to me. So I wish I didn't say Broadie, but I found Broadie. Sorry, Finney.
Bertie Hannah. Where's Bertie Hannah? Bertie's gone. Where are we? Best sledge in your career that you've heard or given? I think one of the most enjoyable I heard was your head loss to Vernon Philander, which is, it was hot, Cape Town. It was a long, like we're in the field about 130 overs trying to chase the win, weren't we? And he just got those eyes the wrong side of fury, didn't he? And you just lost. Probably the only time he got fined. Basically, Vernon Philander got in the way of a throw from mid-off batting, and it sort of shaved him and then hit Jos in the shoulder. Is that right?
Hit him in the head. And I just had this. I had it a lot in football warm-ups. I can snap and get the red mist, and it just descended over me, and I called him a few expletives. And do you know what? I was at a barbecue the other day. Well, I have to call it a braai because it was a parent at school, South African guy, and we ended up talking about the Dunhill Golf. Now, I know you've played in it, so this guy, Johan Ruperts, runs this amazing golf tournament in Scotland called the Dunhill Links. It's a pro-am thing. I'm talking about this, I said, I'd love to play in that one day. And Gideon goes, I know why you wouldn't. And I said, all right. He goes, so I'm friends with Johan Ruperts, and he got a bit pissed off when you sledged Vernon Philander. So you've got no chance of ever playing in this golf tournament. So
that's true. You won't get it.
So no, I'm dead. I'm dead in the water for that. Plus my golf's pretty average. So I'll never be seen. What was your Finney? What was your best sledge? You were quite good for a bit of Red Mist.
Well, no, mine were pretty brainless and just expletive based, I think. But the closest thing I heard to sledging was, so in 2010, everyone remember the spot fixing game at Lord's between England and Pakistan. The bad blood between the teams from that point through the rest of the summer, wasn't there? Because we went through to the one-day series where teams were threatening to pull out of playing the games. And we played a one-day international at Lord's, and Jonathan Trott and Wahab Riaz had a to-do in the nets, which resulted in Jonathan Trott like whipping his pad off and trying to hit Wahab Riaz with his pad. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
extraordinary.
Yeah.
So fast forward 18 months later, we're playing in Jos's first tour actually against Pakistan in Dubai, and I'd bowled 9.5 overs, bowling like back of a length. I took 4 wickets, and I was like, I'm going to get greedy here and try and bowl a beautiful Yorker to Wahab Riaz to try and take my 5th wicket, get all the glory. So I run up, I let go of this ball, and it's like the most perfect in-swinging beamer towards Wahab Riaz. And he's like that, like just about gets out the way of it, 1 bounce through to the wicket keeper. And I'm there going, sorry, Wahab, I'm sorry, you bowled quite quick. Please don't do the same to me. And all you can hear is Jonathan Trott from fine leg going, bowl him another one. As close as I got to sledging.
Oh, I think my favourite actually for me is the coolest thing I've done on the field is hit Sheldon Cottrell for 6 and then salute him. So if you can count that as a sledge, that's probably the coolest moment I've had on a field. Now, Finney, I think you've got a little quiz for us lined up.
I do. Well, Wednesday is a very, very special day for someone. They're going to be 40 years old on
I don't like the sound of this.
on Wednesday. And I would just like to lead a rendition of Happy Birthday to Stuart Broad for his 40th birthday on
There you go. I know how much he absolutely hates surprises, so that was brilliant. But that is it. That's it for our first live show.
Yeah, first of all, thank you.
David Warner!
Thank you so much for Finney for joining us on stage. You're an absolute legend, mate, and it was great to hear all your stories. Thank you so much for coming and joining us. We've loved every moment. Hopefully we'll do some more, Jose. And thank you for Charles Tyrwhitt for putting on this event in this amazing hotel as well. So really appreciate you coming and look forward to a glass of wine.
Yeah.
Good and well.
Well done, mate.